I am at Pioneer Village at Shingle Creek here in Osceola County, Florida, just outside of Orlando. And what they've done here is they've recreated what life was like in Florida in the 1860s by bringing some old homes and buildings and businesses to this park to recreate what village life was like. Now, some of these buildings are original and were physically located here, while some are reconstructions. This is a huge park. There's running trails. There's access to Shingle Creek where you can go kayaking. There's bike trails. It's really a beautiful spot. And like this water tower next to me, it is original to Osceola County and dates back to the 1860s, like I said. They've recreated what would have been a train depot behind me, and we're going to do some exploring today to see what is all here in this very cool location tucked between neighborhoods right here in Osceola County. We were also told that there are some legends of hauntings here as well, and we're going to investigate those too because you know I always love a good ghost story. This church is a replica of St. Peter's Episcopal Church that was originally in Narcoossee and was eventually moved to St. Cloud. So this is not that official church, but it is an exact replica of it and one of the only air-conditioned places here in Pioneer Village. It's really beautiful and eerily quiet, and you'll see inside it's actually reconstructed to resemble what it would have looked like in the 1860s. Check this out. Here at Pioneer Village, this is a replica of what the homesteaders would use to grind sugarcane in order to ship it off to make some money or to sweeten their own drinks and foods. And this is really cool because you can actually see how it would work. They'd send their kids out here as part of their chores to grind the sugarcane, and this is attached to a grind, which somehow would create the granules of the sugarcane for them to be able to process and use. I don't know a lot about the process, but I think it's really cool that they have this here to kind of show you exactly what life was like for the settlers here in the 1800s. is Buster. They're not allowed to feed him because he's on a diet, but he's very photogenic and you need to meet him. At Pioneer Village, there are a lot of homes that are replicas, but this one is the actual Lanier house, which was transported here and is where the Lanier family lived in the 1930s. It is set up just as it would have been where they lived in a different part of Osceola County. And there are chickens in the yard. There is a farmhouse out back where there's a goat now where they would have had cattle. And even on the other side of this building, there is a little area which would have been the livery, or also known as the outhouse, which is close to the house, but not too close to the house. You'll see here that there's a breezeway next to me that let air circulate through the house to keep it cool during the summer months. And it's also elevated, which not only kept the water out of the house during the rainy season, but also helped keep the floors cooler by letting air pass through. This is a beautiful home and actually is considered, as far as economics goes, mid-level. They weren't super wealthy, but they weren't poor either, and they would have had a very comfortable life here. There's actually 3 bedrooms in this house and a little kitchen area, but I'm sure they had to stack family members to get everybody to fit here. But this is just a really cool way to look at what life would have been like in Central Florida in the 1930s. The Cadman Estate here in Pioneer Village is what we were told the most haunted location of all the buildings here in this expansive estate. This was relocated here, and this is the original complex that housed the Cadman family. William and Jane raised 3 sons in this building, as well as in this bunkhouse nearby, which the teenage boys were raised in. And they were very wealthy. They were from England, and they ate and loved the English traditions. So they had their Yorkshire pudding, and they had their own farm, and they provided their own cheeses, and they were very, very wealthy. And over here to my left is the packing house, where they would actually take care of the citrus, specifically oranges, that they would harvest and ship throughout the state of Florida, where they made a lot of their fortune. Behind me is the kitchen, which is detached from the house in order to protect the main home from fires. And it's actually really well stocked and really high scale for the time. We're talking early 1900s. And the main house over here directly behind me has huge living quarters, including a large sitting area and a screened-in porch. And it's also said that that's where most of the paranormal activity happens here at Pioneer Village. A volunteer here told us that this is the place where they'll come in and see that things have been rearranged or have been moved, and they'll hear whispers or sometimes disembodied voices inside this building as well. I walked through with my SLS camera and didn't catch anything, but we are midday on a Sunday afternoon. Maybe it's a day of rest for those residual spirits and they're just not out and about. But whenever we did ask, what is the most haunted building in this complex, the volunteer did not hesitate and said it's definitely the Cadman Estate, which we're standing in right now.